I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com, and it's part 2 of the video review of the Oppo Find 5. From a looks perspective, it's beautiful and it rivals the Galaxy S4 and HTC One. Can it compete on the software playing field, especially considering the fact it's really hard to find in the US? We'll find out in part 2 of the video review, which starts right now. Part 2 of the Oppo Find 5 video review, and this time around we're talking about connectivity, camera, battery life, and final thoughts. It's really a beautiful device, and if you didn't catch part 1, be sure to check it out because I talk about the display, the hardware, and some of the things that make this device unique. But if you're wondering where you can get this, unfortunately it's hard to come by in the US. It's not available obviously on any carrier in the US, and even on Unlocked it's hard to find from any US-based suppliers. It's a hot device though. Oppo's known well for their Blu-ray players in the US, and they continue this over in other markets into the smartphone game. So really an impressive device. Special thanks to Oppo PR for giving us a review unit that we can take a look at and put it through its paces in comparison to some of the other high-end devices on the market. Also special thanks to our partners at Best Buy Mobile. They don't give us Oppo Find 5s, but they do give us devices like this, the Galaxy S4 and the HTC One, for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They'll make sure your email, your web, your contacts are set up, regardless of whether it's a Verizon, an AT&T, a Sprint, or a T-Mobile phone. They'll make sure you're good to go and all your apps are ready to go because of their walkout working program. So it's part 2, and I'll pick up just really quickly and talk about the hardware here. It is a gorgeous device. You can compare the Oppo Find 5 very easily to the Apple iPhone 5 or something like the HTC One. As you know, both of those devices draw praise all the time for the overall look and feel and the metal and how they feel in the hand, and there's no difference here. It really is a beautiful device. It's crafted well. The back is kind of curved, making it easy to hold in the hand, and for me at least, I feel like the 5-inch display, it's big, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of a nice sweet spot. And hear me out when I say that. It's a nice sweet spot because it's still pocketable. It's still very much like a phone. Even at 5 inches, it's pushing it, but it's still one of those things I can put in my pocket and I'm not walking around and not hearing jokes like, "Are you just excited to see me?" every single second like I do when I'm working with the Galaxy Note 2 or the LG Optimus G Pro. The size, it's big, it gives people the media consumption they need. The size is perfect for YouTube, but still small enough where you can easily carry it in your pocket. So Oppo's user interface, very different from what we see from stock Android, which this is running Android 4.1 by the way, and of course the icons you can see heavily customized and kind of has an iPhone 5 look and feel to it here. You think Samsung copied Apple, at least the look and feel here very similar to what we would see from Apple's iOS 6. A very popular formula, and they're looking to carry it over, at least that's my thought here, with the overall look and feel of Oppo's user interface. I like it a lot. I think it's very functional, and I think for people that are on the fence about Android, it presents something that they may be familiar with, and perhaps you could get somebody from iOS over on to Android. The icons look great, the visual interface is stunning, and you can see the little icons, the way they bounce. Uh-oh. Hey, an emergency alert. That's the joy about Texas. You get these Amber Alerts all the time, which means every phone in my office is going to start doing this. So be prepared. Anyway, back to what I was saying here. Facebook, of course, all your applications have these customized look and feel to them, and then you can see within the Google folder, it's just really a clean user interface. I like the transitions a lot, and hopefully Project Firefly will come out soon. I will give Oppo tremendous credit. They do a great job in pushing out OTA updates every couple of weeks, so you're getting free updates for your device when you buy this. This is something Samsung, HTC, Motorola, Pantech, all of the US-based OEMs, or at least OEMs that deliver to the US, could take note here because they're constantly trying to make this device better, and that's something they really need to be called out for in a positive way. So well done, Oppo. Good job there. So let's jump right into speed tests here and take a look. This is on AT&T's network in Dallas. I'm in the Dallas Metroplex, and it rotates between HSPA and HSPA Plus, as you can see by the icon moving around up top, and the phone just restarted. That's unique. We'll wait for it to power back up. We'll talk about some of the speeds while it's powering up. Hey, real life. This is happening right now on camera. So, phone's restarting. Maybe those OTA updates need to come a little bit faster. I don't know why I did that. That's the first time it's ever done that in my time working with it. So, take it with a grain of salt. All phones have issues from time to time. No computer's perfect, but you got that, and then of course we'll run Quadrant Standard as well. So I've been impressed with the performance, but like I said in part 1, I have had some issues with overall responsiveness on the screen. It's a gorgeous 1080p HD display, but it does suffer from time to time. It doesn't register my gesture or register my touch. I have to touch an application 2 times, for example, to get it to load, as opposed to just clicking. So the responsiveness seems just ever so slightly off to me on this device. But we'll load up speed test. HSPA Plus here, and then Agree to that, and we'll go into Tools, megabits per second, and then we'll go down here to something like, we'll just go to Texas, Amarillo, Texas. And we'll begin the test and take a look. HSPA Plus connectivity running right now. And you know what? AT&T in the Dallas Metroplex, always pretty good. I would expect speeds between 6 and 8 megabits per second, although my office is kind of a weird area for AT&T's HSPA Plus. In my home, which is near uptown and downtown, I get very solid connectivity all around. So not quite sure what's going on here, but let's see. Getting about 0.8, that's much slower than I've ever seen from HSPA Plus on AT&T. So running pretty slow. I may need to change the APN on this device. I can't remember if I have the phone APN in here or the old singular APN, but you can get an idea just quickly there. Pretty slow download speed and upload speed of 1 megabit per second, nothing to be too excited about. Let's do quadrant standard as well really quickly. And there are some decent personalization features that I want to touch on before we sign off, or before we take a look at the camera and sign off. Call quality overall has been pretty good. This thing has a 2,500 milliamp hour battery that is non-removable, so you can't take it out, but what you can do is get one of those external battery packs and charge via micro USB. Overall, this phone is fast. It's got a great dual-core 1.5 gigahertz Snapdragon S4 Pro CPU. The display here, though, I mean, the camera does not do it justice. It's a gorgeous display all around, and it competes with the likes of the Galaxy S4 and the HTC One, like I said in part one. Really love the display. Its colors pop, it's beautiful, and then the colorful icons really make it all that much better. That's a nice feature, but again, the battery life, not as great as I would like it to be. Standby time is decent. I get, with moderate use, I get about 8 to 10 hours out of this device before it requires a recharge. I'm hoping that in these future OTA updates that Oppo talks about, hopefully we can get that battery issue addressed. But I pulled it off the charger, and granted, I'm on full display brightness, and I'm on to 30 minutes before it turns off. So keep that in mind, but still, I've had it off the charger for about 15 to 20 minutes, and it's already at 87%. So take that with a grain of salt. Your performance may be different from my performance. The way you use your device is obviously very different from the way I use my device, but I like my battery life, and this one, it's decent, but it's not the best in the world. 7,333 on quadrant standard, so 7,333, far less than the 12,000 we're used to on the HTC One and the Galaxy S4, but for a dual-core processor, not bad by any stretch of the imagination. I pointed this out in part one also, but I like the ability to have 9 home screens in Android 4.1, and the other personalization touches I like, the shortcuts up here in the notifications bar. But then I also like this. We'll go over here to display, and then we'll go to home screen, and you can see my launcher home screen set there, the Oppo home screen. But I've got 2 different lock screen styles as well, which I have the slipper unlock, but there's also the glass board. And then I can go down here into fonts as well and customize it and make it my own. And then within there, I can go to wallpapers and swipe back through my applications, or my settings rather, as I see fit. I've got my sounds and my displays, auto rotate turned on, my easy light, which flashes when I have a low battery or a notification. So that's a nice feature as well. 13 megapixel camera here, 1080p HD video recording capabilities, and I've got my camera, and we'll bring it down here and we'll take a look at the HTC One. I just happen to have it right here beside me. And to give you a comparison between these devices, I'll lay it out so you can see the build quality comparisons. But 13 megapixel camera, front-facing camera as well, and then you've got some editing options in here. Face, on and off. You've got timer, resolution. I can change the resolution of the image. 13 megapixels. I've got panorama, HDR. So I'll go ahead and kick on HDR. I can switch it to the front-facing if I so desire, but I'll take the picture, and it focuses in, and I believe it took. There we go. And we'll go to another one just to see the shutter time here. And granted, this is HDR. Let's go ahead and turn it on to normal and see how quickly the shutter speed responds. Much, much faster. So you can see between that, and then you can do the real time, the Android 4.1, moving from your live picture to your gallery. And overall, these are pretty impressive images. These are not going to be as exciting in most cases as the 13 megapixel shooter found on the Galaxy S4 or the 4 ultra pixel / 4 megapixel, depending on what you want to call it, shooter on the HTC One, but still really an impressive image right there. HTC, a little bit of noise around the HTC, but still visible and easy to read all around. And then compare it, of course, to the HTC One, the current US heavyweight when it comes to design, and the Galaxy S4, the current US heavyweight when it comes to overall software features, and you can see what they look like side by side. Keeping in mind that these both have the same size display, roughly the same size display, you can see the size differences between those two, and those are all laid out with a lot of fingerprints on them. So I really like the Oppo Find 5. Unfortunately, you can't get it from a US carrier, and it's hard to come by with US suppliers, but the Find 5 has a lot to like. It's got a gorgeous display, the build quality is fantastic, and it looks good to boot. and it's got OTA updates, which I really, really like. They've got a commitment to making their device better. They've launched a smartphone. They realize that, from time to time, either they'll find issues or they'll think of better features, and they're working to get those OTA updates out as fast as possible. So kudos to Oppo for commitments when it comes to OTA updates. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage of the Oppo Find 5. I'm on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron and on Facebook at Facebook.com/HiAaronBaker. G+.to/PhoneDog is exactly where you'll find us on Google+. We'll have dogfights and more on this popular device in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for more on the Oppo Find 5 on PhoneDog.com. And as always, I'll see you next time.